Hello, I'm Mike, and this is Will. We are the Tabletop Donkeys.
Hello.
And we're bringing you issue 78 of Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol magazine today. This issue came with the bonus unit for the Genestealer Cults Combat Patrol, the Atalan Jackals, and you'll be able to see them in action in today's game, where the Genestealer Cults are ambushing an Astra Militarum patrol. So looking through the magazine, first up is the build guide for the Jackals. There are 4 normal bikes and they all go together slightly differently, so they're all differently posed. So you've got the first one. Possibly could do sub-assemblies, but you would end up with one of the arms attached to the handlebars of the bike and then the body separately. The painting guide assumes you do glue them on, and you give this one a power axe because it's the squad leader. The second biker goes together much the same as the first. They've got different head options and things, and it tells you to build this one with a pistol. Next one again, the bike is also a separate pose, and this one is built holding a shotgun, while the last one is almost standing up in the saddle and is firing a grenade launcher. In the rules they don't actually have a grenade launcher, but I would recommend building with one because in full games there's no reason to not take the grenade launcher, and if you really wanted to, it'd be fairly easy to magnetise these models with the arms that are holding weapons. You can mix and match things, and there's a whole selection of packs and extra gear they've got you can glue onto the back of the bike so you can make them all individual, and the lights on the front are actually interchangeable as well. It doesn't mention that in the build guide, but again, if you end up with multiple squads you can make them all individual. And then the 5th member of the unit rides a wolf quad, so it's a quad bike essentially, and it's got a mechanical arm on the back for the weapon mount, and you're building this one with a mining laser. And then for the rider you get a couple of options for what he's holding in his offhand, and he goes on the larger base as well. Then the painting guide is very similar to the other Genestealer Cults units, starting with an Abaddon black base coat. We've got Administratum grey for all of their armour and fatigues, and most of the bike as well, catching on flesh for any leather bits. And then you can pick out some parts of the bike in Mephiston red just to make them all individuals. Also things like dynamite and weapon handles. Then lead belcher for things like the ball bar on the front of the quad bike, any of the mechanical parts, weapons and parts of their armour. Rackard flesh if you're using the rope on one of the packs. Retribute armour for any trinkets and cult icons. Then some Abaddon sunset for the lights and fuel pumps, and there's some bits on the arm of the weapon mount on the quad bike and so forth. So non-oil wash for any of the grey, silver, red and black bits. Agrax Earthshade for any of the leather pouches and rope. Keelia green shade for their fatigues, just to give it a slightly different look to the rest of their armour. Carabed crimson for their flesh. Reichland flesh shade for any yellow and gold bits. And then highlighting Mechanica standard grey for any of the black areas and the tyres, where you dry brush the tyres to give it a worn rubber look. Corax white for any of the light grey areas. Pallid Witch flesh for their skin and the rope. Night Questor flesh for any of the leather. Wild Rider red for any red areas. Stormhost silver for any silver areas. Uriel yellow as well for any yellow areas. And then you go over some of the little scenery that's on their bases with grey, so it will match the texture. And they can see the finished models at that point. And then the background article on them, the collection articles, the Atalan Jackals are scouts and pathfinders for the Genestealer Cults, because originally they are supposed to be civilian prospecting units looking for resources, but are now turned to scouting for enemy weak points and skirmishing and harassing the enemy as well. So you can give them a name, roll for their personality, and record when you've built, painted and played with them. And then they have their data sheets. But I'll leave that for Will to go over, and he'll take us into today's game.
So we'll have a look at the datasheet for our new Atalan Jackals. Being on motorcycles, they have a speedy 12-inch move. They are toughness 4 with a 5+ save. The normal bikes have 2 wounds, whereas the Atalan Wolf Quad has 4 wounds. The unit has a leadership 7+ and an OC of 1 on all the models. The Wolf Quad has the mining laser, which is a 24-inch range, 1 shot hitting on a 4, strength 12, AP -3, D6 +1 damage. And then as we mentioned earlier, even though it tells you in the build instructions to build one of the models with a grenade launcher, it doesn't actually have a special profile. The other 4 models just have Atalan small arms, which are pistols with a 12-inch range, 2 shots, hit on 4, strength 4, AP 0, 1 damage. And then the unit leader has an Atalan power weapon, which is a melee weapon with 2 attacks. They hit on 4s. It says here that their strength's 3, AP 0, 1 damage, but we're pretty sure that's a typo, a copy and paste error, and it should in fact be strength 4, AP -2, 1 damage, because there is another Genestealer Cults Combat Patrol featuring a unit of Atalan Jackals in it normally, and the power weapon in that is strength 4, AP -2. So we think this is just a mistake, and we're going to be using it as though it were in that other combat patrol. Otherwise, it's exactly the same weapon, which would be rather pointless, because the rest just have normal close combat weapons, which are the same profile, but strength 3 and no AP. They have the Scout's 9 inches ability, so they can make a pre-game move, and also stealth, so they're -1 to be hit with shooting attacks. But you will note they don't have Cult Ambush ability, so if they're destroyed, they cannot come back, which might be relevant when you decide to include them, because they replace the unit of Acolyte hybrids in the Hand of the Magus Combat Patrol. And it's worth noting that they are a mounted unit, they don't have the infantry keyword, so there are certain Genestealer Cult stratagems that won't benefit them. And then we have that introductory scenario, which is called Ambush, where the Genestealer Cults have risen up on an Imperial world and swiftly managed to cut off an Astra Militarum patrol. However, this patrol does include a field ordnance battery, which will be a threat to the Genestealer Cults if they can't get rid of it quickly, and so they move to surround and destroy the artillery. So the Genestealer Cults player gets the Magus, a single unit of 10 neophyte hybrids, the unit of Atalan Jackals, and the Goliath Rock Grinder. The Astra Militarum player has the Cadian Command Squad, both units of Cadian Shock Troops, and the Field Ordnance Battery. And there's a map on the following page, which we'll be following. The Astra Militarum player selects 4 terrain cards to place, and then the Astra Militarum player deploys all their units in their deployment zone. The Genestealer Cults do so, rolling off to decide who takes the first turn. There are no enhancements, they cannot use secondary objectives or use stratagems from their combat patrol rules, although that does imply that they can use generic stratagems. And it also doesn't say they can't use faction rules, so we assume we would do, otherwise of course the Astra Militarum couldn't use orders. The game lasts for 5 battle rounds. If the Field Ordnance Battery survives that entire time, the Astra Militarum player wins, otherwise if it's destroyed, the Genestealer Cults player wins. Here is the battle map. It says use battle maps 1 and 2, and it shows 3 and 4. We're going to use 1 and 2 just for a change of scenery, because we've been using these ones a lot recently. The Astra Militarum deployment zone is in the centre of the board, and there are 4 places where they can place some terrain. And as it said before, the Astra Militarum player selects those. The Genestealer Cult player has deployment zones along each of the short edges. And then we just have some tactics advice for both sides. So the Atalan Jackals, of course, are very fast, so they can get wherever they needed, whereas the Astra Militarum have to defend the Field Ordnance Battery at all costs. Doesn't really matter how many of their other units die to achieve that. And then, as usual, the victory outcomes for both sides. So we'll get the game set up and get straight into playing. So here we are set up for ambush. You can see the Astra Militarum clumped in the middle. They've actually got quite a small deployment zone, so it's a little bit tricky to fit them all in. And the Genestealer Cults on either side. Here is the Astra Militarum. This is the only way the Field Ordnance Battery will actually fit in the deployment zone, because they're too wide to fit vertically on the board, as it were. The command squad are attached to the Cadian Shock Troops with the plasma gun and grenade launcher. That squad's on the right, wrapping around the artillery, and the other squad is on the left. And on the right of the board we have some of the Genestealer Cult units.
Yeah, so I've deployed the Rock Grinder as far away from the squad with the melter gun, because that's probably the only weapon that can really threaten it. And the Neophytes with the Magus.
And on the other end of the board we have the new Atalan Jackals.
Yeah, so the one with the power weapon is the one that's doing a wheelie next to the Wolf Quad.
Yeah, and the one on the far right, as you see it, is the one where the model has the grenade launcher, but just as a reminder, there are no rules in Combat Patrol for the grenade launcher, it's just another firearm.
I've deployed them up against the board edge, so if I go first I can scout move them 9 inches, but if I don't go first, the Astra Militarum will have to come out to get the flamer and get into rapid fire range with their laser guns.
And it doesn't say who goes first, so we'll be rolling off. Genestealer Cults have won the roll-off, so we'll be into Genestealer Cults turn 1. But before the first turn begins, the Atalan Jackals have made their scout move.
So the Neophyte squad isn't going to move, so you get more accuracy with the seismic cannon, and it is just about in rapid fire range. The Rock Grinder's moved up its 12 inches to get close to that Guardsman squad, and the Jackals have moved so that they're an inch away. I mean, they're not a good unit in melee, but they can tie up that Guardsman unit for a decent time, and they can kill enough with shooting. They might be able to engage the Field Ordnance Battery as well.
But the shock troops will overwatch. This is the squad with the flamer, so that will hopefully be reasonably effective. We'll do the melter gun first though, because it could one-shot one, since they have 2 wounds each. Well, it missed. Flamer gets 1 shot. Wounds on 4. It does.
5 up armour. Ooh, made it.
And 15 shots with las guns, hitting on 6s. 1. Wounds on a 5 though against toughness 4. Nope.
And I'll start shooting with the Neophyte hybrids, so all the special weapons will be in front and in rapid fire range. The 5 guys at the back with firearms aren't quite in range with them, unfortunately. We've got 6 regular firearms, do them first on 4s. 5 hits. Wounded on 4s, 3 wounds with no AP.
5 plus saves, they're not close enough to the barricades for cover. Failed all of them. 6 plus feel no pain. Oh, made 2, so only 1 dead.
Pistol from the Magus hits on a 3. Nope. Pistol from the squad leader hits on a 4. Got it the second time. Wounds on a 3. It does, no AP. 5.
No. 6. No. 2 dead.
The Weber, 4 hits. So wounds on 5s, but 6s is devastating. So that's 1 dead wound.
With feel no pain. No, 3 dead.
6 shots from heavy stubber on 4s. 4. Wounding on 3s. Getting 4 with no AP.
5s made 2. 6s made 1. That's 4 dead.
And seismic cannon. 6 shots on 4s. 2. Wounds on 2s. Oh, they both fail.
So 4 dead overall.
So I'll do the rock grinder next. It will put the clearance incinerator into the further squad, while the heavy stubber will go into the nearer squad. It will also throw a demo charge at the ordnance battery as well. So heavy stubber onto the nearer squad. 6 shots on 4s. 4. Wounding on 3s. Getting 2 and OP.
5s, no, and 6s, no, 2 dead.
On the other squad, 2d6 shots. 6. Wounding on 2s because it's strength 6. That's 5 at -1.
6s to save then. Made 1, so 4 of them die.
And at the ordnance battery, the demo charge is d6 plus 3. 9 shots. Hitting on 5s though. 2 hits. Wounding on 2s. Only 1. -2.
So a 6 to save. Nope.
2 damage.
So one of the guns is down to 4 wounds.
And hazardous test, it's fine. Finally, the Jackals, their small arms will go into the squad in front of them, while the mining laser will go into the artillery piece. 8 shots from small arms on 4s, 5 hits wounding on 3s, 3 wounds at no P.
5s to save, made 1.
And the mining laser missed. You know what, I'll re-roll that. Can't possibly fail the charge. It hit, strength 12, so 2. It wounded at -3.
So it doesn't get a save.
D6 plus 1 damage. 7.
Well, I'll just finish off the damaged one. So that destroys the Malleus rocket battery.
In the charge phase, the Jackals will charge, just the Guardsmen though. So they get 5. Rock Grinder will charge the Guardsmen with the command squad. Gets a 5 as well, which is enough.
And that makes it in like that.
Guess we'll start with the Rock Grinder. It's got 6 attacks on 3s, 6s are sustained. So that's 2 misses, but 2 sustained. Strength 10, so 2s. That is 6 wounds at -2.
So no save.
And they're 2 damage each.
So I have to make a load of 6 plus feel no pains. What I'll do is I'll roll 6. These are, if you like, the first roll for each model, and if any of them roll 6, I'll roll another die and see if I get the second 6. Oh, I didn't make any, so it's just 6 minced. So just the officer and 2 veterans left.
Then the Jackals will do the close combat weapons on 4s. 6 hits, wounding on 4s. 4 wounds and no AP.
5s, they kill 3.
And the power weapon hits twice, wounds on 3s, wounds once.
And no save on that. Remember, we're using the correct rules and not the ones in the magazine. So 4 dead. And then the Jackals will consolidate to tie up the field ordnance gun. And all their attacks are the same, so I'll just do them all at once. We've got 3 from the sergeant, 1 from the remaining Cadian, and 3 from the artillery piece, all hitting on 4s. 4 hits, wounding on 5s, because it's a toughness 4. 1 wound.
With the 5 up, failed, take a wound.
And then I've just got the remnants of the command squad fighting the Rock Grinder. The officer with his power sword hits once, wounds on 6. Nope. Power fist, 3 attacks on 4s. They all miss. And the veteran misses as well. Well, it's not looking great for the Astra Militarum at the end of Genestealer Cults turn 1, but I guess we'll go on to Astra Militarum turn 1. The 2 remaining guardsmen need to take a battle shock test. The command squad doesn't because it's no longer an attached unit, and there are 3 of the original 5 models in the command squad unit left, and the field ordnance battery is 1 or 2 guns, so it's at 50% strength. Guardsmen are fine. I issued take cover to the remaining artillery piece, so it does improve its save by 1. It has fallen back. Obviously it can't shoot, so then we will have some shooting. We've got pistols into the Rock Grinder and into the Jackals. I'll supercharge the officer's plasma pistol because it's pretty desperate at this point. Hits on a 4. Oh, it did. Still wounds on a 5. Oh, a wound. -3 AP on supercharge.
6 up. Nope.
Yeah, 2 damage to the Rock Grinder.
It's down to 8.
And a bolt pistol. Missed. And a hazardous test. He's fine. And then the sergeant's las pistol against the Jackals. Missed. But unfortunately, the Genestealer Cults get to pick a unit to fight first.
So I guess I'll go with the Rock Grinder. 6 attacks on 3s, 6s are sustained.
Oh dear.
It must be jammed.
Yeah, clearly the commander shot something quite important.
You know what, I'll re-roll 1. Try not to embarrass yourself, Rock Grinder. Right, 2 hits. Really on 2s. 2 wounds at -2.
So no save, it's just 2 damage. Feel no pain. 1 model dead. makes one, but that's just going to leave just the officer, yeah. So that left just the officer, and then the shock troops did nothing to the Jackals.
Regular weapons on 4s. 4 hits, wounding on 4s. 3 wounds on AP.
They're dead. So the Cadians have 2 models left, but one of them is an artillery piece. As we head into Genestealer Cults turn 2.
So the Rock Grinder's going to stay in combat, the hybrids have moved up, and the Jackal's just going to be an inch away from the bombast field gun. And I'll start shooting with the Jackals.
And the gun might as well go to ground. It is an infantry unit, so it can. So it already has a 3+ save from the order, but this will help against things that have AP.
So 8 shots from small arms on 4s, or only 1 hit. Wounds on a 5. Nope. And the mining laser, missed. And you know what, I'll re-roll that. Yeah. Hit again. Wounds on a 2. It does, -3.
So 5+ save with the combination of the 2 things, yes.
Oh. Do the neophytes next. 19 shots from the heavy stubber, hybrid firearms and pistols and things that hit on 4s. 9 hits, wounding on 5s. 2 wounds.
3+ save thanks to the order, both saved.
Pistol from the Magus, hits. Didn't wound. And 6 shots from the seismic cannon on 5s because it moved. Getting 2 hits again. Strength 6, so 3s. 1 wound, -1.
So still on 3 because of the cover. Saved.
Rock Grinder will fire its clearance incinerator and heavy stubber into the officer. 2d6 with the flamer for 8. Wounding on 2s. 6 at -1.
6+ save, and he only has 3 wounds. Valiant attempt, but he gets roasted.
So on to the charge phase. We'll start with the Rock Grinder charging the artillery. He gets a 7, which is enough. So the Rock Grinder goes in, and also we rolled off camera, got a 10-inch charge for the Jackals, so they'll try and surround the artillery so it can't fall back. And we'll go for the Rock Grinder, so 6 attacks on 3, 6 are sustained. That's 2 misses and 2 sustained for 6 hits. Wounding on 2s. 6 at -2.
6 is to save. No, it'd actually be 5s, because take cover still works against melee attacks, apparently, but still doesn't help it. It takes 10 damage and dies. And that obviously destroys the last Cadian model, which, as it happens, is the one that the Genestealer Cults needed to kill to win anyway. It was obviously going to be a Genestealer Cults victory, and we could play that again and let the Astra Militarum go first, but actually I don't think it's going to make a great deal of difference because they just have no way of dealing with the Rock Grinder, besides a lucky hit from the Melter Gun, and the Genestealer Cults can always deploy the Rock Grinder further away from the Melter Gun, so it's going to be hard to get that shot off in turn 1 anyway. The field guns are not designed for taking on vehicles, so it's probably not going to be a particularly different outcome even if we let the Astra Militarum go first. So we'll just recap all of that for you now. Well, that was a very quick game for issue 78 of Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol magazine. How do you think that went?
I mean, I think I took 3 wounds, so it can't really go much better. What the Genestealer Cult player could do in this game is just sit the Jackals back and shoot with the mining laser, because there's a decent chance it can outright kill the artillery piece.
And as we saw, the Cadians just go down very quickly to the sheer volume of fire.
Yeah, and I don't think it'd be that interesting to play it again, just because you fire the bombast field gun at the Rock Grinder as much as you possibly can and hope to get wounds. There isn't really anything you can do about it. Or I suppose you'd have to kill the Jackals and the neophytes and then throw bodies at it and just run the artillery away.
Yeah, that might be the way to do it. But yeah, there's nothing that wounds the Rock Grinder on better than 5s. Yes, if you get the Melter Gun in range, it can do a decent amount of damage in one go, but still one shot hitting on a 4, wounding on a 5.
Yeah, you'd have to shoot everything at it and bring it down with a wave of shots, but I don't think it's going to be that interesting to actually watch. And actually, although the Jackals did well in this game, I don't think it's actually a particularly good showing of them. They can go off and contest objectives. They're as fast as the Rock Grinder, so they can support it. They can harass backline units, or even things like, say, a unit of 5 Hearthkin warriors left on the home objective. They can probably bully them and win. I guess you'd have to compare them to the Acolyte hybrids, and I think this is quite an interesting unit to replace them with, because the Acolytes can deep strike, they've got more OC, so they're actually better at contesting objectives, but they pick an area to be in, whereas the Jackals have less OC, so they're not as good at contesting objectives, but have the speed to get around the battlefield and do stuff. And also the Acolytes have a chance of coming back, but the Jackals don't. The Jackals have stealth and 2 wounds each and toughness 4, so by Genestealer Cult standards, they're fairly durable.
Yeah, certainly against Cadian shock troops, with the majority of whose weapons are wounding them on 5s, and then -1 to hit is really good against people that hit on 4s. Yeah, they're obviously not going to stand up to a dedicated melee unit or anything, or a really good shooting unit. And they have the mining laser, which is actually the one anti-tank weapon you do get with the Genestealer Cults, and of course it's not even in the main combat patrol. The Rock Grinder is a very competent anti-tank weapon in melee. It's still only one shot hitting on a 4, of course, but it provides something that they otherwise don't have. And actually, that model having 4 wounds as well means that if you're not against anything where you really need the mining laser, you can actually just put wounds on that rather than the other bikes to keep them intact if you just want more models and a bit more anti-infantry firepower.
Yeah, so that is the full combat patrol from the magazine, although we'll probably talk about it more once we see it all in action.
Yeah, we'll obviously try out using them instead of the Acolytes in a combat patrol game, because the Acolytes haven't really, as we've seen, they're quite powerful in melee, but they often don't get there, or they deep strike too late in the game to really make an impact, so it'd be interesting to see if a faster unit will make a difference.
Obviously, good value for money, because this is only across 1 issue, whereas they're about £35 for 5. They're really cool models, definitely keeping to the whole Mad Max vibe.
And they're obviously a completely different vehicle aesthetic to the more military style things. I mean, obviously, the Space Marine Chaplain's bike as being an extreme version because it's enormous, but these do actually look like functional off-road vehicles, unlike the Chaplain's bike.
They're meant to be sort of outriding prospectors, looking for mining things or resources, so yeah, they've got that kind of look. They've been bodged into military service. Like the mining laser looks like an industrial machine that's been strapped to the back of the quad, and they've got plenty of packs and things, and there's a decent mixture of guns and melee weapons as well, so you can mix and match how you want. And there are alternate weapons. There's a seismic cannon or a heavy flamer equivalent. I would highly recommend building one with the grenade launcher as it says, even though they technically don't have one. It's just extra firepower.
And actually I think it's kind of cool to have a quad bike as part of the unit of bikes. It's just a slightly different silhouette and bulk in the unit, but it feels like it fits perfectly well in what would be an outriding recon unit in lore. So we will get to see them in action with the full combat patrol at some point soon, no doubt. Until then, though, we'll leave it here for this video, so let us know what you thought in the comments below. If you're a fan of Atalan Jackals, let us know how you can get the best out of them. Once again, we will be continuing until the end of the Combat Patrol magazine using the older rules, just because that's what the magazine expects. We've been the Tabletop Donkeys, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye for now.